Hi Radio Western hosts, and welcome to your Trello walkthrough. So Trello is a website we're going to be using to keep you up to date on all the digital music submissions we receive at the station that we may not receive physical copies for. So a lot of the time that's new singles, but we get full albums as well. There are a couple other cool things we'll be doing with Trello that I'll show you in just a second. So by now, Pam should have sent you an invite to our Radio Western hosts new music board through email. Once you accept that invite, it'll prompt you to make an account on Trello, and after that, you should have access to our Radio Western board. So I'm going to log in, and what you should see when you log in is this page right here. It's our Radio Western host new music board. The way we've organized or divided up this board is by genre or format. So if you are a show host, you will be able to find your show in whatever category or format your show falls within. So I host Blue Mondays on Monday morning. That would fall under the open category, though you do have access to every board. There are one or two shows that may fall into two different categories, so make sure you just look around and find where your show is. So I'm going to click on the indie pop rock open category, and this is what will pop up. All of those format boards you saw on the main page look exactly like this. They're just a different color, but the categories are exactly the same. So I'm going to walk you through what each of these columns mean and what you can do with them. The first is new music. So these are all the digital music submissions we'll get. They're either MP3 or WAV format. Again, that could be singles or full albums. So I'll see the info on the card itself. These are all called cards. So I see Front Door is the name of the single released by the Lifers, and then I'll see where they're from. So they're from Guelph. If I'm intrigued and I want to check out the song, I'll click on it. And there will be two labels that I will need to be worrying about, just like our physical music library. So if it's red label, that means it's Canadian, which I can see because they're from Guelph. If there is a green label beside that, it'll mean they're local, which again will be in the title, but just to reconfirm. And then you'll see the due date. And this is the date that we received the submission at the station. So the date it starts counting when you're trying to figure out if it's new or not. That being said, we will be constantly updating this new music board at the station. And once something is not new anymore, we're going to move it to an archived music board, which I'll show you in just a sec. But everything in this new music board will count as new for your show. So don't worry about that. The date is just for your own reference. You'll see a little information on the single. So again, who it is, released new single, Front Door, and that's in advance of their sophomore LP. I'll see a download link to the WAV or MP3, and then a link to the band's website, Bandcamp, Facebook, or something like that. So I can click this. It'll send me to Dropbox. If I want to listen to it, I can preview that beforehand by clicking over here. And if I want to add it to my show, I'll click download. Direct download, it'll prompt me to save it to my computer. And that's about it over there. So this is a new track that I can download, have on my computer to play on my show. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that you can count it as Radio Western's music under your green sheet for new music. It'll still be a Y category, so your music, because we still can only count physical CDs, but still counts as new. So that's that there. Moving on to our next board is Music Library Ads / CHW Weekly Top 30. This one's pretty straightforward. Basically, every time Ian updates the new music or does the charts, we're just going to link it here for you. Super convenient. This week's Top 30, you can find a link to Earshot. Or new releases, you can find a link to our website, which will give you all the new releases for this date. For interview requests and live to airs, this is where we'll post when we get contacted by a band who may be in town for an interview or live to air, and we want to see if anyone would like to host that on their show. We're going to put this here. If you see something you're interested in, you can click on it, get a little bit of information. So this one's a pre-recorded phone interview before a Friggs show at Rum Runners on April 6th, band's Bandcamp, and then Facebook page. If you are interested, you can write a comment and let us know. I'm going to put an @ symbol, and you can contact either myself, so that's Michelle Balderston, or Pam. So I'm going to type in Pam. I'll find her right here, and say, I want this interview. Say whatever you want. You can put an emoji. And then I'm going to save it. And then we'll get in touch with you via email to set that up further. Moving on, shows on this board. This is where you can see all the different shows that have the same format as yours. If you want to chat with anyone on these boards, you can do so. You can click the show. Again, write a comment for any reason. That depends. And you can type in their name. I can't at myself, but you would just type a comment and then save that again. And then whoever you contacted would get notified that you mentioned them in a comment. You can see those notifications by clicking this bell icon, seeing everything that's happening on the board. So I can see that Pam mentioned me in a comment over here. And then the last category is Radio Western Images / references. If you have any blog posts or things like that that you want to use for promotional purposes for your show, you can download this official Radio Western logo. And then blogs to find a new Canadian music. These are handy if you're struggling with your CanCon requirements. You can just click on this document. It'll bring you to a list of Canadian music blogs, and you can use those when you're programming your show. The last thing, if I press show menu, I can see all the members who are a part of this board. So right now, it's just 4 of us, soon to be much more, but that's how you can figure out who you can be chatting with on these show boards, as well as all the activity that's happening on the board, so you can see when new cards are added or new comments are made. If I go back over here to this arrow in the top left-hand corner, I can go back to the home page, and the last thing I will need to check out is Archive Digital Music. So we move all the music in those new boards into here when they are no longer new. This is good so you can still see older music that doesn't count as new for your show, but still might be cool to play. Again, they're done by category, so if you host an open show, you can see all the open music. That's pretty much it for Trello. We'll be constantly updating this and sending you email notifications when we do. Hopefully you enjoy or discover some cool new music that you can play on your show through Trello.